Good morning to you, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Outlook and Discussion video blog for Hurricane Pro and HD for the 8th of May. Still not hurricane season yet officially, but Mother Nature doesn't follow man-made calendars very often. So here we are talking about subtropical storm Ana off the southeast coast. The very latest from the National Hurricane Center shows us that while the system continues to get better organized, it's still not quite purely tropical in nature. Here is the next 3 days forecast track. You can see a very slow trek towards the coast here, coming inland to maybe somewhere between Georgetown and Little River Inlet in South Carolina. Most of the inclement weather right now is on the south side of the system, but if it wraps up and becomes more symmetrical, then you bet you can kind of just draw a pie here and look at this right front quadrant, or a cross, not a pie, like a selection of the pie, right? And you can see that southeast North Carolina could be receiving the brunt of what this storm brings, which is maybe 50-mile-per-hour winds. That's the forecast, is for it to intensify up to about 50, and heavy rain possible. High surf along the coast, maybe some minor beach erosion, and that is about it. Looking at the track model guidance, this is what the Hurricane Center's forecast is based off of for the most part, and you can see a good deal of the tracks bring it in a very similar fashion towards the coast. Now let's go back to the Hurricane Center's page and take a look at a satellite animation. Now that the sun has been up for a few hours, we get a few visible satellite pictures, if these will load for us. I remember yesterday it wasn't working as efficiently. Here we go, and you'll see that finally the structure of Ana is becoming better defined over time, slowly but surely developing more convective activity in these banding structured looks to it, but the north side still missing some of that deeper convection. It won't take much now. It does have that S shape overall, and if this convection can wrap around to become more organized, then Ana will be well on its way to becoming a true tropical storm. And at that point, it will start contributing to the season's ACE, or accumulated cyclone energy. When they are subtropical, it doesn't count. It's kind of like an exhibition game where it's just preseason exhibition. If you win or lose, it doesn't matter. It's just for show. Well, once they become a tropical storm or higher, a true tropical storm, not subtropical, then the amount of energy that they release over time, called the accumulated cyclone energy index, begins to tick off, and you start accumulating those points. And just for what it's worth, in an average year, we typically see anywhere from 95 to 105 ACE points, somewhere in that range. This year, the forecast is for only 40 total from Colorado State University, one agency forecasting that, only 40. So Ana would start contributing towards that predicted 40 once it becomes a tropical storm. Now, the intensity guidance, most of the models indicating that Ana peaks out here around 45 knots or so, seems to be a good average, and that's about 50 miles per hour. Looking at the radar out of Wilmington, North Carolina, will refresh this, and you can see some bands of showers trying to inch closer to the Cape Fear region here, but most of the area very clear of any precip right now. The I-95 corridor doing just fine. Interstate, what'll soon be Interstate 74 west out of Wilmington, and I-40 north, no problems at all. But all that heavy rain down here over the ocean is going to slowly spiral inland towards inland areas, the coast and then inland. And so southeast North Carolina, northeast South Carolina here could receive quite a bit of rainfall over the next couple of days. So a nasty weekend coming up for the Carolina coast, breezy to windy at times with occasional heavy showers, maybe a thunderstorm in there. So just be mindful of it. Be careful out there, especially if you're going to the beach. It's still kind of early. Water temperatures only in the low to mid 70s at best, so not a lot of people in the water. But if you do head down to the beach, or you know somebody heading out, tell them to be careful. The rip current threat is going to be pretty high, especially during tide changes, so be aware of that. Tomorrow and Sunday, I'm hoping to get out into the storm and test some equipment, kind of make sure everything's working for the real hurricane season ahead. I will be streaming live on our Ustream channel. I'll be sure to post that on our @HurricaneTrack Twitter account if you want to follow us there. And I'll post a couple of video updates to Hurricane Pro in HD as well, so be on the lookout for that. All right, well, that is it from me for today. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com and, of course, for Hurricane Pro in HD. I'll see you from the field tomorrow and Sunday.